Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening.
Wow.
I am Bryan, and we have on this side over here, it's opposite depending on which way you're looking. We have.
Hey everyone, I'm Anthony. Happy almost Friday. Wow.
It is almost
Forgot about that
Friday.
music, Bryan.
Welcome to the Q&A Live. Today we're going to be showing some tools that are in beta that we can get your feedback on. We're going to show you our new annual plan and talk about that. And if you have any questions about Etsy, eRank, or life in general, don't hesitate to throw them in the chat and we'll get to them.
All right. That sounds like a good plan. Hey everyone. So we have no Starla, no Pam today. So we've got Bryan, who's great.
Oh yeah, they're not here. Oh, I forgot about them.
Yeah. Who are they again? So thanks for tuning in. Looks like we've already got a whole bunch of people joining. I really wanted to tune in soon. So since Pam and Starla aren't here, it was a great opportunity to get in because, as Bryan said, we've got some beta products out there that there's a lot of work we've been doing to clean up some of the old tools. And I wanted to give you the opportunity to give me feedback on them. I'll also give folks the founder's take on some of these tools, why we built them in the first place, how they can help you. And also, I think just emphasize the importance that when we do something, we make a change, sometimes we mess things up. And if we make a change that's not for the better, we don't necessarily know. Unfortunately, I can't speak for Bryan, but I know my mind reading skills are pretty poor. So when we do make something, a change that isn't for the best, great to let us know about it. So we've got a wonderful team of customer support ladies that are great sellers on Etsy to begin with, really good people who can help. So, when you do see things like that, please let them know. They're not bots you're talking to, they're real people. So, test them out. As we show you these tools, please test them out and let us know how we're going. So.
And even if it's something little, even if it's just a little quality of life thing, a column that you'd like a different size or colors that don't work for you, let us know because we're seeing it from very different lenses than you are. And everyone is seeing it on different screen sizes and different browsers and everything. So we need to know all of that feedback to know where it stands.
And, I was actually looking at one of them for the first time today, believe it or not. And I looked and went, oh, okay, that's not quite how I would have done it, but I actually like it better than how I would have done it. And that's something we've done as we grow the team. We're bringing in more people, fresh ideas and so forth. So, how about we show some off, Bryan, instead of talking about it.
Chuck just asked, would you guys be interested in some beta testers from time to time?
Chuck, we are always interested. Sometimes we just don't have stuff that's ready to beta test, but today is exactly the day when we would love you to test it out. The more eyes that are looking at these things, the better. So yeah, thank you for asking.
All right, so let us start with the rank checker. So you guys are able to see this already. This is now officially the tool. And this gives you information about how your listings fare compared to the top 500 listings for a specific search term. I don't know if I can make this bigger. Can you see it well? I'm seeing it at a different size than you are.
I see it pretty good, but I've got a huge monitor here, so I'm at a little bit of an advantage.
All right, so everyone let us know if you can see the text. If not, I will increase it even more.
Some of the points I wanted to make here was, and I'll go back in time when my wife first started on Etsy. One of the hardest things that she had was figuring out whether she'd optimized her listings well enough for certain keywords. And as you all know, there's Etsy personalization and localization. So that kind of skews the results. And yeah, you can do VPN and go incognito, but that still doesn't give a really good unbiased set of results. So that's why we invented the rank checkers, basically to see, how you stack up. Have you done enough to start ranking in there? So that's why we built this tool, just to say, okay, you've done enough. You're now starting to rank. You've just got to make some sales, make some happy customers, and from there. Since we did that back in, fine, that's almost 10 years ago we did this. A lot of things have changed. A lot of people have used the tool, liked it, didn't like it, given us feedback and so forth. And some of the bigger changes that we've done now, we've added some search statistics in there. So not only do you see how your shop's listings are ranking, but how good is that keyword? So people wanted it. I think it's neat to have in there. And we've started to add back some high-level analysis of those listings as well. So those 500 listings, what the average or the median price of those listings, how many favorites of those listings have. So we can start to get a sense of what the playing field is about. So that's what we've done. Some of the more recent things are things like adding and removing columns. So Bryan might want to see some information. I might think it's not for me. So Bryan, do you want to show them the column picker and how that works?
Yep. And just before we get into that, Galactic Galleria says, what type of account do you need to see these new tools? We'll go through it with each tool with the rank checker. That is available for the free account all the way up through expert. You have different limits depending on which account you have. The free account, you can do 10 searches per day, the base account 25, and the pro account 50 per day. And that's how many searches, but this is available through all of the accounts.
Yep.
With the columns tool, you'll see on most of the new tools, you will see a columns button right above any table. And when you click on that, I'm moving my mouse around as if you guys can see it on the wrong screen. It will now show you all of the columns that are available. If you don't need to sort by prices and you think the images are taking up too much space, you can just turn those off, hit apply, and those columns will disappear. There was an image here, and it did show the price here, and now they're gone. And that can either give you more room on the page or give you horizontal scrolling, depending on how much data you have on there. If you don't care if something's vintage or handmade, you can turn those off, and now those last two columns are gone, and I've gained a little bit more space for each column on the page.
I really like that because a lot of people were telling us we put too much information on the page, and some of it is, to suit Bryan, others to suit Debbie, others to suit me. Suddenly you have 10 or 20 columns. How about we give you guys a choice? So we did that. And Bryan, do you want to show them how you can reorder the columns as well? Because I think this is kind of useful now as well. So if
daily views is more important to me, that's the most important thing. I can now drag that up. I want it right after the image. Click apply, and now there's my daily views column. So you can completely tailor it to what works for the way that you need to see it. So you could turn on and off data that's not relevant to you and sort it in a way that your eyes are hitting where they need to hit when you need to hit them. All of these columns are also sortable. So you can just click on the up and down arrow at the top, and it'll tell you which way it's sorting. It's either off, sorted descending, or sorting ascending. And when you hit it a third time, it then turns off the sorting. You'll see this little filter icon at times. Click on that and you can actually filter. So this is for the price column, for example. You could filter if it's less than $20. I want to see it. And hit apply. You could add multiple rules. You could add multiple rules, or you can just stick with one. Everything is basically customizable so that you get the most of the data on the page the way that you need it versus the way that we think you need it. Because everyone wants to see things slightly differently.
Yeah. And you'll notice that for the keen-eyed folks out there, that we actually have a couple of different ways of filtering right now. And that's because this one, I personally don't like it too much because it's a bit hidden. Sometimes you don't notice the filter icon and you move on. You think it's just not there. In one of the other tools that we'll show you, they're already exposed. So you can see like a minimum and maximum in there. So you can have that on display in front of you. You can't miss it. The downside is it gets a little bit uglier. So we have this sort of trade-off. Is it like nice and clean and minimalist, or is it all obvious? So again, test them out. Let us know what you think. I think Chuck's on fire here, actually.
Yep.
Bryan.
Chuck asked, I would love little question marks next to the titles like average price to explain what that is. When you move your mouse over it, instead of having a little question mark, you now just have to hover over the title and it'll tell you what that explain what data it's showing.
Yeah. Do we have anything over the average price, Bryan? If you go up the top,
up here, no,
yeah.
we do not actually.
So I think we're lacking in a few areas there. So that's good feedback. Let's make sure we're consistent there. And sometimes because we've used the tool for so long, it's like, oh yeah, we take it for granted. We know what it is. But someone that's looking with fresh eyes or for the first time at this tool, I think you need a good explanation about some of those things. So we made a note. I know Debbie's in the background there, frantically taking notes. So we'll make sure that those are added. So thank you for calling that out, Chuck.
And he asked, is the data including or ignoring the ad listings on search pages? It is not showing ads. It removes all personalization whatsoever, and ads are a personalized thing for each user. So ads are not included in those 500 listings that it's looking at.
Yeah, and that's not an option we have. Etsy, they have a developer API, which is a data feed, I guess, and we can tell it, ask for certain types of data, and one of them is, give us the most popular listings for a certain keyword and rank them by relevancy, and that's what we do here. That does not include ads, doesn't include any personalization. So yeah, no ads. That's the short answer.
Yeah. Mark asks, why is 500 listings the maximum? Where does that number come from?
That's an easy one. It's just really slow. It takes a long time to get that data back from Etsy. So if I ask Bryan to refresh this screen, we're probably looking at maybe 20 to 30 seconds before the information loads. So sure, we can maybe go to 1,000. But if we do that, it could take a minute to load. I think it might be neat if we give people the option. Do you want just a quick scan, maybe the top 100, maybe a medium being 500, maybe 1,000 could be an option there. But again, let us know. It's possible, but just be wary. It will take a lot of time. And if you're like me, you get very impatient. It's like you click it, you want it to load immediately, right? So 500 was kind of the maximum tolerance level where I started to get really impatient after that. So yeah. Cool. What else have we got in the comments here? Yeah, folks, please
and actually, I just want to show a little bit more here. So these are so I did a search for Gothic home decor, and it'll give you the average click-through rate, average searches, basically the keyword information that you would get through the keyword tool is shown right at the top there, and then you have the top insights for those specific listings for the 500 that it goes through, and then it'll show you your listings and how they rank. So this listing, and this is a good example of the new listing boost that you get. I just listed this listing about 8 hours ago or so. This is part of my halfway to Halloween collection, and it's currently showing page 1, rank number 2. So it still has that new listing boost, and it is at position number 2. So those rank bonuses are great for new listings. So get those new listings going, people.
Hey, Bryan, do you think there's a lesson there about occasionally listing stuff right during the peak? I know we often talk about listing stuff about 3 months in advance, but do you think there's maybe an opportunity for folks to list something like peak shopping period for Halloween, stuff like that?
There is definitely an advantage of doing so because you do get that boost. The problem is that once that boost is gone, your listing is now potentially rank number 3,000 versus if you list it 3 months in advance, it might not get that much activity, so it might not hit rank number 2 right away, but Etsy will know what the listing is and who's shopping for it in those 3 months. It's gaining data. So right now that listing has 0 data. Once its boost is gone, it ends up wherever it ends up, instead of Etsy knowing what it is and who to show it to.
Good answer.
So there's pros and cons for both.
Yeah. I'd probably say do both if you want to hedge your bets.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what we usually do. We usually have a few listings up a couple months in advance, and then one or two that we think are like, these might do well. Those we list usually at the time that we want to start promoting it, like on the day where people start shopping for it.
Makes sense.
No other questions. So this shows you all the data about your listings, and then you could actually see the top listings that it used for comparison. So it shows you your listings will be highlighted. So this was number 2, this one was number 1, and it'll show you the top 500 in this case, and you could change the amount that you see on a specific page, which gives you access to see all of the data of those. And for your listings, you could have different column settings than for the other top listings. So I set the columns for what I wanted to see for my listings, but let's say I don't care about when the listing was created or updated. I can turn that off for just the top listings, but still have that information on for my listings. So you can have different columns set up for the different data that you're viewing, even though it's on the same page, which is always nice.
Yep.
And you can export the pages to Excel, PDF, or whatever type of format helps you.
Yeah.
And if you remove a column, that column will not be included in the Excel file or the PDF. It will only show you the data that you're currently showing on the screen. So if you remove a column, that column will no longer be included because you decided that you didn't need that column.
Yep. One other thing I wanted to point out, and this is a little experimental, but if you can scroll down a little bit, Brian, for a second, please. So you'll notice we're not showing all 13 tags. The older version of this tool had this huge vertical space between each row. So now what we've done is we've collapsed and just show a couple of them. I think it's clean. We're also experimenting with ways to sort of spread them horizontally across the page as well. So we show all tags and we have more rows of data on the screen. So there'll be more changes there. So again, as we make them, let us know the feedback, what you think, and we'll see what we can do. I was just looking at the chat again, Brian, and I noticed a couple of interesting comments here. So Speedbird was asking, why would you want more than 500 listings to come up? And I was kind of like, okay, that's fair. And Mark, who asked about the 500 limit, made a good point. Sometimes you want to see more. It's like, show me the whole universe of listings. So Mark, the good news for you is we have something coming very soon. Hoping to give a bit of a tease today, but it's not quite ready, where we will allow you to do something like that. So if you've got 20,000 listings that compete with your listing, so more on that next week. I think it will be ready then. So yeah, Mark, you are not alone there. That's my point. We have folks that have been wanting deeper analysis of those listings, so it's coming very soon. So stay tuned.
Exactly. And a lot of it will depend on the category. That'll make a huge difference. If you're selling something where there's only 300 competitor listings, then trying to get to 500 doesn't actually matter. But if you're selling stickers or you're selling print-on-demand T-shirts and you're going for a more general search term, you'll want a lot more search results to be compared just because there are that many more. If there's 3 million results, just showing the first 500 might not be enough data for you to make a good enough analysis of, am I in the right spot? So adding more, not a bad thing.
Hey, Brian, I don't know if you've done this analysis, but I've looked at some where there's 1 million competing listings. And I can tell you now, some of the SEO for those listings is horrible. So, wouldn't be worried about that.
The more general terms will just naturally have more search. Like if you just look up jewelry, you're going to have a lot more search terms, but that's not a very helpful term. It's a single word and it's too generic.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
All right, let's jump into delivery status tool.
Mm-hmm. Now, this one I built for my wife because she had this wonderful period when she had such trouble keeping up with her business. It was one of those times when she was making, I think, about 50 sales a day, which for some people is like, not much. For other people, it's like, oh my God. For her, it was really hard because it was jewelry, it was handmade. She would be spending hours just putting stuff together, packaging it, and so forth. And one of the things that sort of fell through the cracks was just checking that things were getting out to her customers on time. And so that's why we created this tool here, was because what happens if something is delayed? What if it's a week before Christmas and the buyer is getting really frantic? What we wanted was a way to give people a bit of a notice saying, hey, I shipped this a week ago, but we noticed it hasn't been delivered yet. Just letting you know, it's on its way. And it's great my point is this, it's very good to stay ahead of these things before, a small issue becomes a big issue. Because you can imagine, like, someone's getting more irate and so forth. If you can get in front of that, let them know things are going to be okay. It's just this time of year. There's a lot more stuff going out there. Great. So that's why we built this tool. Thank you, Anna. All right.
So that is the big advantage of this tool. I don't currently have any not delivered at them. I could change the stats. There we go. There's some in transit orders, which are delivered. For some reason, tracking didn't update, but that's not an eRank thing. That's
Stallion Express.
It can be a pain in the butt sometimes.
Yep.
But this will give you an idea of what's still moving. I don't know if you're even privy to this, but we do have a couple more columns being added because I don't think they're here yet. No. Of the date that it was shipped, the date that it was delivered, and we have a little bit more information in there. The username is going to be there as well. This does include the Etsy order number already, but I don't want to show that to you guys because that would breach Etsy's rules there. So there are more columns coming, but this is a way to just get a very quick hit of, is something moving? Is it not? You can see this data in Etsy, but it's multiple pages. It's very long, and you have to manually scroll through. It's a pain in the butt. So this is just a way of being able to sort, and you could change the date range. So you can see orders that were placed with today, yesterday, last 7 days, last 30, last month, or you can do a custom range and select dates. If you know that you're having an issue with orders that were placed at a certain time and you're like, why are none of these orders moving through the system? You can select just that one day and see the status of those orders, that if you can identify if there is a problem or if some of them are starting to get delivered. And it's just a very handy way to keep up with a mail system that is not 100% great.
Yeah, it can save you a lot of stress. I just saw Lenice's creation tune in, and I know Lenice and I had some chats about the delivery status. Lenice, we're still working to get this on the dashboard. I know you requested that a couple of years ago. I have not forgotten. Renata asked, and Renata works at eRank, so just be careful. She's watching everyone. Is there an ETA date coming soon? I know we've had some trouble trying to figure out this, like looking at shipping time, trying to get an understanding of the carrier and what their typical times are. I'm not aware if the team have made much great progress there, to be honest. But I know people want it. I think it would be really neat to be able to filter this list down and just say what looks like it's overdue. So, yeah. Maybe we'll experiment there and see what we can come back with there.
And a lot of it is, there's a lot of things that we can do with USPS that we can't do with other carriers, just because they're smaller carriers or they might not provide us the same level of data. So sometimes it can be a little tough. If we haven't seen a shipment going from point A to point B before, then it's very hard to estimate what that's going to be. So there are always going to be random cases that you just don't know, but for the most part, that's a good idea to add in if we can get that data. And one other thing I want to point out here is for USPS in this case, just because other carriers aren't as great. The tracking number is clickable as well. You can click on the tracking number and it'll bring you directly to the USPS website. And that'll show you all of the tracking information so that you can just quickly jump there. A couple other, I think UPS is in there and FedEx maybe. I don't remember which ones are included, which ones aren't, but you are able to jump straight to tracking. There's also the copy button right next to all of them. Whether you can go to the page or not, you can quickly copy the tracking code if you need it for an Etsy message, or you need it to go to the carrier's website and search it for yourself. You just have to go and paste it because the copy button is right there.
Bryan, can you just quickly show folks the navigation just so they can see where the rank checker belongs and where the delivery status is? Yeah.
So the rank checker's under keyword research, and you'll find rank checker at the very bottom there.
Yep.
For the, I imagine it's under shop insights.
Yes, sir.
Under shop insights, you got delivery status.
Good. Thank you. One of the folks was asking.
This is one of those things that you guys have to remind us because we're so used to just navigating through things that we don't even think of where things are anymore.
Yeah.
Let's jump over to shop info.
This one I find super interesting if you are doing some market research or just basic competitor research. So you might be looking at a shop and going, wow, Curse by Design, 40,000 sales, holy smoke, they're good. But have they been good recently? And so I don't know whether you want to share this, Bryan, or we can pick another shop. But we have things in there which tell you a bit more about that shop. So if Bryan's shop was 20 years old and maybe that 40,000 sales wasn't so good, but over 6 years, that's pretty damn awesome. I think a lot of people would be very, very pleased with their shop.
Although even though the shop was 15 years old, those 40,000 sales could have just been within the last year, or it could have been 15 years ago and they haven't made a sale in 14 years.
Yeah. So the idea here is to sort of peel back a few layers from some shops and figure out whether they're still doing well and whether there's something you can learn from them to succeed in selling on Etsy as well. So you can see things like I'll probably start from the top. Some basic sort of stats about the shop, the number of active listings, how long they've been in business, average daily sales. You'll see their primary category. Sometimes it's a little bit off because Etsy don't give us a single, this is Bryan's category, especially if Bryan or anyone else is listing in multiple categories. So we look at the most recent listings and what the dominant category is there. So sometimes it can be a little bit off, but generally it's pretty good. Then there's more sales stats, and the ones that I really love here on the right, Bryan, are the global rank and the sales rank within the country that you live in. So you can see here that Bryan's like in the top 10,000 sellers on Etsy, which is pretty phenomenal. And in Canada, he's like seriously kicking butt up there. So that's great. These are good things that you can tell your friends about if you're looking at your own shop, or you can look at the shop and go, yeah, these guys seem to know what they're doing. And if you scroll down further, you can see on the left there the sales history. So you can see that looks like Bryan has a very good track record in May. Is that a seasonal thing, Bryan?
Yes.
Yeah. So
last year we dropped a huge spring collection, summer collection, and it blew up.
Yeah. So you don't know. Well, Bryan knows this, but other people may not know this. But sometimes those shops have one-off events, seasonal events, special events, and so forth. So you get an idea there. What I'm looking for when I'm looking for ideas is I just want to make sure a shop's consistent. So you can see here across the board, Bryan's shop's done well for a long time. And at 40,000 sales, it's hard not to do well at that point, right? You get a sense of this guy knows what he's talking about.
Exactly. And so this will show you the last 15 months worth of data. When you hover over, you see the month, the year, and the number of sales that they had that month. It's the same data that you're seeing in the what's it called?
Competitor sales?
The competitor sales. Thank you.
Yeah, that's the one. So you get an idea of how Bryan shops performed over time, or anyone's shop. You see what the top listings are. You can click on the see all top listings to drill in further there. And then the other bit I like is looking at the top tags, because this starts to tell you what sort of words this person, this shop owner, thinks they need to put in their listings. So you can learn a lot from this. So you'll see some branded ones in there. You'll see some Gothic home decor. So you can see Bryan's clearly discovered a niche that works really well for him. Maybe that's not something for you. Maybe there's something there. I don't recommend you go and copy his tags, but
it won't work for you. People have tried.
Yeah. So you can just start to get more information there. Bryan, do you feel okay popping into the top tags or any other stuff? Yeah. Awkward pause.
I might just. Is it loading or is it?
I don't think that's loading for you. Okay, well.
Well, let me just refresh the page.
Okay.
It's been open for a little bit, so it might just need a little refresh.
Shouldn't need one.
There we go.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Debbie, can you make a little note of that, please? Thank you. So here we can see a page. We basically look at the top 100 listings for Bryan's store here, and we go, right, let's aggregate these listings so you can see that 94 of those 100 listings had Gothic home decor, 75 had cursed by design. So you get an idea of how many times those tags occurred in listings. And then you've got some keyword stats in here. And something I really like about Bryan and a lot of sellers is when they are using some long tail keywords that may not necessarily have any great search statistics. So you look at spooky, creepy, scary, so unknown stats. But when you see shops like that, you don't need to be turned off by that. You have a look at that and go, right, how would Etsy take these 3 words and combine them with other words in my listing? And I think it's good to see people do this. So don't try to take all the greens and the what you think are good keywords and use those exclusively. Look at some of the other ones as well, because this can give you an idea of how people's minds think. Perhaps they've learned from previous success, and that's why they use these sort of tags in multiple listings in their store. So don't necessarily be turned off by unknowns and really low search volumes, because there are those other secondary benefits there thanks to Etsy's matching algorithms.
And not just search volumes, but also high competition. I mean, one of my biggest ones is Gothic home decor, which has 320,000 other listings that are using that same tag. And it still does really well for me. So just because there's a lot of competition doesn't mean you can't beat out that competition. So don't be too scared about that, but also analyze those words and see if it is just too vague, and that's why there's a lot of competition. Like going back to jewelry, if you're just using jewelry, you're going to see 3 million results. That isn't a great keyword, just because, not only because of that competition level, but because it's a single word and doesn't do much. And it's a lot harder to get to the top of 3 million than it is with a long tail keyword where you have 300,000. So it's not just about, is that red, green, or yellow? It's about what those numbers mean. What's the meaning behind it, and how does it rate? Like, how does it matter towards your specific keyword?
So we've got a lot of comments in here, Bryan. I think we might have skipped over a few here. Chuck, unknown basically means we've got no evidence of people searching for that exact phrase on Etsy over the past 15 months. So by itself, it's probably a terrible keyword. But when you look at the other keywords in your listing, so the other tags, the words in your title, Etsy will pick and mix and match those words. So it can suddenly become really useful, even though it's unknown. So keep that in mind. No data for that exact phrase.
Exactly. And Chuck asks, do you need pro membership for the shop info function? I don't remember.
I don't think you do. I think it's, gosh, I should have these questions answers burned in the back of my mind here.
Let's see. Shop Insights. It's under competition, isn't it? Competitive intelligence. Shop info reports are not available for free, but they are available for basic, pro, and expert.
Yes. Yeah. And basic super cheap, so it might be worth the $5.99 to try it out. Sorry, can't have everything free.
When these reports are generated, can you create PDFs for download? In the past, they were only emailable. Some businesses have more than one person doing the research. One email allowed is tough.
We don't support email report capability unless I miss something.
Let's jump to export. When you download as PDF, it downloads it directly. You actually get a PDF, so it's not being emailed to you. You're actually it just opens the PDF, which you can save and put anywhere you need.
Yeah. No, there's no email limit on there.
Let's see. Linda said, when you do one of a kind, it's hard to know who your competitors are. Any suggestions?
So in that case, I would use the rank checker and type in the sort of keywords you expect your buyers to be searching for your products. That's what I would do. Because in the rank checker, you will see the shop names and the listings, and that's a good signal. If they're matching for the same words you want your listings to be seen for, they're a competitor. So that's how I would use them. That's my preferred way to do it. Plus, I get up to 500 at a time.
And just because your item is one of a kind, that doesn't mean that other people aren't doing similar types of items. And so yeah. So looking up something more specific is easier.
Yeah. One of a kind's a bit harder. But that's what I would do. Rank checker.
Geek Authority said, I just did 2 reports and it sent it to the one email on file.
Oh. That may be something very new. Renata, I think you're listening in. Does that ring a bell? Hopefully she can answer that in the chat. I think we may have enabled some email. I just can't remember where it was right now. We'll see. Yeah. We'll come back to that one.
Don't know. It showed up for me it downloaded directly to my downloads folder, and it popped up on the screen automatically. But
yeah, I suspect it was a different area. I know we had some reports which would take a long time to generate.
There you go.
Oh, there it is. Yeah. Some of the older tools. V2 is like some of our older style tools. That's a internal terminology. I'll take them offline and see if we can get some answers for you, Mr. Geek Authority. I know you tune in regularly, so we'll get some answers there.
All right, so let's jump to the competitor sales tool.
Mm-hmm.
This has always been one of my favorites. This is one of the ones that I check every day, whether I'm doing research or not. This is what I do usually before I go to bed. Check the competitors and see where they are.
Yep. One follow-up just from the Geek Authority. Can I send you a screenshot? Yes, you absolutely can. If you can email it to me, anthony@erank.com, I'll take a look at it and get back to you. Thank you. Sorry, Bryan.
Nope. So this shows the number of sales that the competitors that you're following got per day, basically. And you could also see their 7 days, their 30 days, and their all-time sales. And this is just a good gauge. One of the reasons that I use this, especially if I have low sales on a specific day, I'm like, is it my shop or is it all of Etsy or is it my niche? So some of these shops are friends and family. Some of them are competitors, and some of them are just random shops that I decided to add to the list because I thought it would be fun.
Yeah. My wife, when I first built this tool, again going back probably 8 or 9 years ago, she used to look at her competitors every morning and write down how many sales they had, what the total number of sales was, and then the next morning she'd go in and she'd write it down again and she'd work out the difference and have a spreadsheet going, and just to get an idea of, is Etsy, what was the phrase she used to say, is Etsy punishing me? That was it. It was like, have I done something wrong? And she just wanted to see how her peers were going, those competitors. So very good from it can be a very calming tool sometimes. It's you have this a couple of days where it's quiet and slow and nothing seems to be happening. You pop into here and you look and you go, it's not just me. Okay, I don't need to, go back to my old day job and things like that. So very relaxing like that. A couple of things that I wanted to point out here. So this will become available for people to test out, I think later today, if it's not already available. There are some things I really like about it. So Bryan, do you want to show off the graph functionality? Because I think we made some good progress here.
Yeah. So there's a column called graph, and you basically you can turn on and off the whether that shop is included in the graph. And then at the top, you will see show graph. That won't show if you don't have any shops selected. Once you start selecting shops, that graph is now there. And there's your graph.
Voila. So it can be a bit like spaghetti looking at it sometimes, but you can sort of look at the different colors and start to go, okay, I see, Gracie Bird Boutique, is doing okay.
It does highlight it. I don't know if you could see it on the screen that well, but when you move your mouse over one of the shops up at the top, the index, it does highlight it makes the circles a little bigger, and it does highlight that line.
And I think, Bryan, if you click on those names, it'll hide those from the graph as well. So if you want to just isolate your shop and one other shop briefly, you can see them side by side. So it starts to become quite interesting when you got someone like that. It looks like you're in a bit of a, neck and neck sort of battle here. Some days your shop's better, some days the other shop is better. So that's kind of good. So that's the graphing capability. What else do I want to share here? So
one of my favorite things that we added from the previous version, which you all are used to, is when you hover over a line or a date, you will now see all of the shops and their sales for that day.
Yeah.
Amazing.
This was a pet peeve that Bryan had, and I remember having some conversations about it. I don't particularly like this because I like to hover over the specific point and see the exact shop, like right there. Unfortunately, Bryan made a very valid point, which was sometimes multiple shops dwell and have the same number. And so in the older version, it was really hard to tell what those shops were. Now it's easier. So I think this is definitely an improvement. So thanks again, Bryan. We do listen to everyone in the team here, as well as our members. I think for me, taking this to the next level would actually be sorting those names. So if Curse by Design is there with 15, that should be at the top of the list. So there's a little bit more logic into the ordering of the shop names here. But that's the graph capability.
Exactly. This is one of the issues that I had, where if you look, there's 3 shops on yesterday that had 8 sales. And so it would only actually put the name of one shop. And so seeing them all like that, game changer.
Yeah, that makes total sense. And again, sometimes, I built something and I live in a little myopic sort of world where I've got the blinkers on and I've got my own perspective and I don't think about how other people might use the tool. So it's the value of feedback.
Exactly. Chuck asks, can you find shops based on tags, keywords, and click to add them to your competitors list? So I search the word canvas wall art, show me the top shops by sales. Yes. I'm full right now, but if, for example, you're in the rank checker and you see a shop, oh, it's not here.
It's not there. No. So,
but if I was in that shop, if I was looking at the shop info for that shop,
then you can click on the eye icon And
the eye icon on the old one and on the new.
You have to enter the shop name. It's a bit clunky
Yeah.
right now. But Chuck, short answer is right now you cannot. But this has been a bit of feedback that keeps coming up regularly. And basically what you've described there is exactly how we should be doing it. So look out for some changes to the rank checker and other tools where you can do keyword searches so that you can easily start tracking competitor shops. Right now, there's a little too much emphasis on you guys trying to find those competitors. I think you'll be really pleased with the next round of updates that we apply here. So some good news coming very soon there.
And Susanna said, can you repeat where I should go to see this graph? Is it under competitive research sales? Yes. So it's under competitive research and then sales, and that'll bring you to this page here. And then up at the top here, you'll see columns and export because I have no shops selected. So if I then come down here and select some shops, now you'll see show graph. When you click on show graph, there it is.
Mm-hmm.
And just like the previous version, you can see the individual days. So there's Friday the 25th, Saturday the 26th, Sunday the 27th, etc. It shows you how many sales they made each day, as well as the 7-day sales. This is the 7-day sales, 30-day sales, total sales, number of active listings, and shop age. If you don't need all that information, if you just want to see their overall, you can actually just come in here, turn off some of the days because those are taking up too much space. You don't need them. You just want to see their 7 days, 30, and total sales. Hit apply, and those columns disappear. I currently have my notes hidden section, or notes column hidden, just because those are just for me.
Things about those people, Brian.
No, it's mainly just locations of where they are and what they're selling so that I remember. But it's also for people like if you just want to remind yourself, if it's for a friend or family shop, you're not going to necessarily remember their shop name, so you can put that there. You can put any information you want. For a lot of them, it says they're getting close to 20,000. Don't forget to send them a message, because I like to send people messages, like my competitors too. I tend to be friends with them and send them a message when they hit milestones like 10, 20, 30,000 sales. And so I like to do that. So I like to leave myself a note so that I remember, okay, keep an eye on that because it's coming soon.
Nice. A couple other things to quickly point out. Earlier, I mentioned how we have 2 different types of filters that we're experimenting with. So in this one, you can see the filters are exposed. So under the 7-day column, you can put in minimum and maximum values. So maybe you're not interested in shops that have had more than 100 sales over the past 7 days. You can do that there. So this is just something we're looking at. So I don't know whether it's super useful in the competitor sales because the lists aren't too long, but it may be really useful in Keyword Tool and other places like that.
I think it's useful here. This is like our meetings. I think it's useful here, especially for like total sales, because I might be tracking a lot of extra shops, but I just want to, like today I'm doing research and I just want shops that have a minimum of 10,000 sales. And so that'll give me just those shops on my list that have 10,000 sales. I think that and one of the things that that comes up a lot that people ask is, do I have to have 100 listings? So if I put a maximum of 100 listings, now it's going to show me all shops with over 10,000 sales with under 100 listings. So it's helpful in the sense that you can track what's happening with the smaller shops or shops that don't necessarily hit those rumors that you hear out there.
I'm just looking in the chat here, Brian. Susanna asked, how can we access this tool? Normally we have a little banner at the top, like Debbie was pointing out. We don't actually have it in there at the moment. I think that'll be added either this evening or tomorrow morning. So Susanna, if you want to access it, if you go into the address bar and it will say something like erank.com/competitor sales, in front of eRank.com, put members. So it's members.erank.com, just like Bryan's highlighting right there. That will then take you to the new tool. We'll add the link to the old tool, like I said, within the next 24 hours. So it'll be there. But if you want to quickly get in there, that's the link. Maybe you can post it in the chat too.
Yeah, I just posted in chat.
Awesome.
I forgot that I'm logged in as eRank, so I can do that.
Yes.
Normally, I can't post links.
The power. All right.
Anything else? So with the pro account, with a free account, you can only see your own shops. With a basic account, you can track 5 shops. With a pro account, you can track 50 shops, and with an expert, you can track 200.
Yeah,
I guess I have this open. I could check it. Yeah, you can track 200.
Yeah.
So this is not available. A lot of the competitive stuff is not available to free members just because it's a lot of data that we have to track and it costs us more money. So we have to charge for it.
Sorry, guys. Yeah.
Yeah, your shops do not count towards the number. So I have 2 shops in here, and those do not count towards my 50. So I still have 50 that I can use because I'm on a pro plan, and but I actually have in total this list. If I remove those there, my total is actually 52, just because my 2 shops don't count towards those 50.
All right. Chuck had another question.
Is it possible to search keywords where you can set minimum search volume and maximum competition values to get them filtered, or have a single number represent keyword difficulty 1 to 100?
Do you have the keyword tool open by any chance, Bryan?
I do.
What a great segue.
No, that's keyword lists.
Okay.
Listing optimization, the keyword research, keyword tool.
All right. So Chuck, I'll show you how. Yep, let's open one up. And if you scroll down a little bit, please, Bryan. Takes a little moment to load. Again, crunching a lot of data here.
And again, this is a search term with 230,000 or 320,000 results. So it can take a couple seconds there to load. But that was what, 7-8 seconds? Not bad.
Like yeah. Okay, so Chuck, if you were to look at the column headings, you can see a little filter icon. I wouldn't worry too much about the tag occurrence of the average searches. You can basically say, I want searches greater than 1,000, and maybe do you have competition? It looks like you may have it hidden at the moment.
I might. No, I just can't see it on the screen. Let's do this.
There we
go. And I want that to be greater than 30,000, but less than 100,000.
Oh, this will be interesting. Okay, there's some words. So that's how you do it, Chuck, or anyone else watching. We have the filter capability in there. The fact that you're asking tells me that, these filter icons aren't quite doing the job of letting people know you can do this, but it's there. Oh, yeah, if you're on the free account, you probably don't have access to that. The other question that Chuck had there was, is there a single number representing keyword difficulty? No, there isn't, but I suppose I can let the surprise out. We are adding an opportunity score into here, and what that score will do is it will look at the conversion rate for those keywords. So if someone searches for woven blanket, if that's got a reasonable conversion rate, if it's got, say, high search and low competition, we would consider that something to be like a good opportunity, a good keyword to be considering in your listing. So that will be coming in probably by this time next week. So look out for that one there. Not keyword difficulty, but I think this one's actually slightly better because it looks at the conversion rates for those words.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And just if Renata's still watching, this is not lit up right now. That should be green. And I actually can't see the So on the one that I first did, I'm still seeing the information. On the second filter I did, it's not there, but I still have the clear button. So make a note of that.
This is one of the reasons why I need everyone, test out the tools, let us know your thoughts, because if you spot something that doesn't quite look right, we can get it to our developers. They're turning stuff around really fast now. And lo and behold, it could be the next week or the one after that's been, either fixed, improved upon, or basically implemented. So yeah, please keep that feedback coming in. This, I need to confirm. I believe the filters should be available for all paying members, not just the folks that are on basic. So, Debbie, if you can make a little note for me to follow up on that, please.
Yeah.
All right. Lenisa's got a question in here. Can a key for status icons under SEO tips on draft and active listings be added? The exclamation suggests urgency, but I think it's just informational, not requiring action. Lenise, I think that's actually a really good idea as well. So we'll make a note of that. Yeah, that is informational, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and that page is also going to be changed soon.
Yes. Yes, it is. Bryan and several of us have been working very frantically in these areas. Right.
And another thing we want to go through is we now have annual pricing. That's something that is new. I think it was added just a few weeks ago or something like that. So for those that know you want to use eRank and you want to save a little bit of money, at the top here on the pricing and plans and pricing page, you just hit annual, and for the pro plan, you're saving 21%. It goes down to $7.92 from $9.99. So a little bit of savings because we love you.
That's it. We do. We want to try and make eRank available to as many people as possible and as affordable as we can. If it was up to me, I'd probably give it all away for free, but we have nearly 60 people on the team now, and we have to pay them. And yeah, so
and 2 million connected shops or something like that. I think that's what
yeah, a lot more than that actually, but yeah, it's over 2 million. It's kind of crazy, huh? Yeah, so yeah, check it out if you've been around for a while. Like, if I know that a lot of folks have been on the pro plan for years, and if you look at the annual pricing, it's like $7.90 and change, which is kind of almost as there's not a lot of difference between that and the basic plan at that point. So there's some good savings to be made if you're a good long-term user.
And new tools keep getting added, and the old tools keep getting upgraded, and new features added, and that's why we want to do this. Show you the beta of all these tools that are coming, and just to get your feedback so that we make it worth your money.
Yeah. And Bryan, I was chatting to Sean and our team the other day, and we've got 5 huge updates scheduled for this month. 5, which is it's really exciting, because for the past year we've been doing so much work, like rebranding, improving our payment system, and just starting to switch over to a new platform. And so I get frustrated because sometimes we're just cleaning up stuff and not innovating and creating new stuff. But 5, so I may be on next week again to show off one of those 5 tools. So
basically, we have a development team that is not allowed to sleep.
Pretty much, yeah. No. We're not that bad.
We let them sleep.
Yes, we do. No, it's I think it's just one of those things. Sometimes you have to do a lot of work behind the scenes before you can see the finishing touches. And to put an old school analogy together, it's a bit like renovating. So if you're going to renovate your bathroom, you go right back to the studs. There's probably 2 months of work but you don't see anything for it yet. It's the last couple of weeks when you put the paint on, the tiles on, the fixtures in. That's the business end. So we're kind of like that with our tools now. So these new features have been worked on for a long time, and then suddenly they're all coming due in May. So it's exciting. I like it.
I'm enjoying it too. And we hope everyone out there is also enjoying it. But that's it for today. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and if you're not already on our Facebook group, go to facebook.com/EtsyRank. The link is also down below. And thanks for joining us. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, everyone. Bye for now.
Bye, everyone.
It wasn't easy, no, but with eRank, we're trending now. I dreamed of topping all the charts. I wanted sales to blow up. Remember long nights crafting, no one clicking on my stuff, but I signed up for eRank.